That's right. It's the morning show right here on KVVB TV, Channel 33, Facebook Live, Periscope TV, LinkedIn Live, YouTube Live, and of course, Roku TV. We're glad to have you with us. On today's show, we got a fun show planned for you as well. A little bit later on, we're going to be talking to the author of 3 very adorable books for the young little ones. Be Curious, You're Okay, and Oh So Kind. Kind of sounds like the theme that we've had for the last few weeks here on the morning show, right? We're going to be talking a little bit later to Joy Cho. She is the founder and creative director of Oh Joy, which is a graphic design studio which creates products and editorial content celebrating the everyday joyful moments in life. So we're going to be talking about these. These books are really cute. You got to see them. So we'll be talking to Joy around the corner with that. First of all, we got to say a big hello to Mr. Jesse Sanchez. How are you, Mr. Jesse?
Good morning. I'm doing great.
Now, do you ever remember like being a young kid and having like a book that you were just like mesmerized by? Was there ever a series that you were mesmerized by as a young child?
Yes, there was, and you'll probably laugh if I tell you.
I promise not to laugh.
The Goosebumps series from R.L. Stine.
Oh yeah. We had R.L. Stine on the show a while back. I think that was before. Did we have? Yeah, we had R.L. Yeah, we could have him back. By the way, he's great. Goosebumps, the entire series there. Very interesting individual. Like you kind of wonder what goes on in his dreams, right? but he made it. So is that kind of like the entry point into you like loving horror down the line? Because it's kind of a scary series, isn't it?
Now that you say it, yeah. Now that I think about it, yeah, it was a great series. It had a lot of like spooky moments, but it wasn't too scary for a kid. So it was like a great entry point to get kids into reading.
Yeah, and it definitely imagination of the mind, right? Really good. Okay, so we got lots to talk about today on the morning show, including top headlines. Some of you probably have gotten pretty good news in the mail and or your direct deposit, if you know what I'm talking about. Some of you are already spending it before it's already spent, quite literally. The stimulus checks, yes, they are in, at least for a good portion of Americans. However, we've got some tips on what to do with that once you have it. Okay, so be careful out there. I know some people are like, woo, money, yeah, I can go shopping. No, you can't. All right, we'll be right back right after these messages with more right after this. Stay tuned.
In times like these, the news-making events happen here. ABC News.
President Trump meeting face-to-face with one of the world's most brutal dictators, Kim Jong-un.
The president.
You trust him?
I do trust him, yeah. I think he trusts me, and I trust him.
Ivanka Trump.
I have to ask you about your emails. Your father had taken Hillary Clinton to task for this.
There just is no equivalency.
So the idea of lock her up doesn't apply to you?
No.
Comey.
How strange is it for you to sit here and compare the president to a mob boss?
Very strange.
Michelle Obama.
What do you wish you could tell your pre-White House self?
Whew. Melania Trump.
Do you think there's still people there that he can't trust?
Yes.
Still working out?
Yes.
Michael Cohen.
So he's still lying?
Yes.
It's a big statement.
And now, in a year with so much on the line, we're right there.
Good evening tonight from Washington, a very busy news night.
America's #1 news source, ABC News, straightforward.
We all need someone who'll pull no punches and give it to us straight. No bull, no spin. Now imagine getting your news like that. Just give it to me straight. ABC News, straightforward.
We are so excited to announce KVVB is going national on Roku. You can now add KVVB TV to your Roku device. Just search KVVB, select, and add the channel. Once added, you can enjoy something for everyone. So go on, grab a friend or a family member, catch up on your favorite action-packed movie. Love music and sports? We have that too. KVVB has something for all. Find us, add us, watch us now on Roku.
All right, there we go. We got a lot going on over there at ABC News. Good to have you with us. Again, we're on our commercial break here for the morning show, so we're getting ready to go back live in just a minute. A lot of people super happy this morning getting their stimulus checks. Jesse, I know you said some family members got their stimulus check. Were they like jumping up for joy or just kind of like, oh boy, got to pay down my debt?
No, actually, my mom was quite happy. She texted me early this morning. She's like, "Yay, I got it!" And then my best friend's parents got theirs yesterday.
Oh, nice.
So
Very nice. Yeah. I know Brenda was like, yes, we could pay off our bills because we got so many just piling up there, right? Because nobody's really done. I mean, there's been some cool landlords out there, some really good ones out there, which we have a couple stories filtered here. We may or may not share them, have time. May not have any time for that. But there's some really good ones, good stories of
10 seconds.
People doing kind acts. But it's difficult no matter who you are. You got to make a payment. Somebody's requesting a payment from somewhere above, right?
2 seconds.
That's right. It's the morning show right here on ABC News Radio KMET 1490 AM. Joining our live TV audience over there at KVVB TV, Channel 33, Facebook Live, Periscope TV, LinkedIn Live, YouTube Live, and of course our good friends at Roku TV. Feel free to download our app. It's free on Roku. Just download it. Very simple. It is KVVB. Type that in, add it to your favorites, and you're good to go. We've also got our KMET 1490 AM radio app. You can actually get all of our great news, ABC News, every top of the hour with the latest news. Some of the things we're tracking right this minute is, of course, the stimulus checks, probably the biggest talk. I know there's other talk, but everybody's like, I just got some money in the mail and or direct deposit. So we want to ask you in social media, how are you going to spend your money? And is it your money, or is it like, what's going on here? Where does this go? Do we ever have to pay this back eventually? How does that go? So we got questions, we need answers. And then there's this testing. Scientists have some bad news about antibody tests. Oh, great. But a lead scientist in another story, a coronavirus vaccine could be ready soon. And, of course, many people wondering what it is they're going to do in the next coming days ahead. But before we get to that, we got Mr. Jesse Sanchez over there. Good morning, Jesse.
Good morning.
So, Jesse, look, I understand. We've all got is it kind of play money? Is it feel good money? Or is it, I got to go spend it on the bills money?
I just think of it as a massive loan. You gotta pay a little bit of it back.
Yeah, because I remember they saying that. They were like, including even businesses are like, well, we're eventually going to get our money back. So it's not exactly like free monopoly money, right? So I hope the majority of people really do spend it properly. I mean, I'm not going to lie. The moment she said we got some money, I was like, PlayStation 4 is happening right this minute. That was the first thought. And then the second thought was, oh, wait, we don't have that type of money. So there you go. So if anybody wants to donate a PlayStation over to the house, I'm just saying. No, I'm just kidding. No, did you know this, Jesse? We went to Target the other day, quite literally. And, in the gaming, I just wanted to look at some, cool stuff. All the gaming consoles are gone. Like Xbox, PlayStation, everything. Even the Switches are gone.
Wow. Yeah, I knew about the Switches because I knew some people that were looking for them, but I didn't know about the Xboxes or PlayStation. But it makes sense.
Yeah.
Everyone's stuck inside. They need a system.
Yeah, so I don't know. I kind of wonder if people are going to have enough money for the PlayStation 5 when it comes out in December. I hope they cut that. I don't know. We'll see what happens. There's still lots of time to catch up, right? I mean, who knows? Okay, so we got lots to talk about. In fact, coming up around the corner, we're going to be talking to Joy Cho. Now, she's the founder and creative director of Oh Joy. It's a graphic design studio which creates products and editorial content celebrating the everyday joyful moments in life. So she's going to join us in just a couple of minutes. But first, we got a story here that I found quite interesting. And it happens to do with the Beatles. Yes, who doesn't love a little bit of the Beatles? I don't know if Jesse has any favorites over there or if his family members, including Mom. Is Mom a big Beatles fan, Jesse? I think he's getting our next guest ready to go. Okay, so my mom happens to be a huge Beatles fan. Well, lately, the Beatles lyrics to Hey Jude, handwritten by Paul McCartney, has literally sold, this is for people that actually have a lot of money. I kind of want to know who this person is. $910,000 at an auction. 300 items were on offer at Julian's Auctions to mark the 50th anniversary of the band's split, but McCartney's note was the biggest seller. It went for 9 times its actual original estimate. The item was described by musician specialist Jason Watkins as very rare and valuable. He added, quote, "These handwritten lyrics were used in the studio as a guide when they were recording it." Another top seller was Ringo Starr's bass drum head, embossed with the band's logo and used on their tour in 1964. That fetched a whopping $200,000. Other items included a drawing by John Lennon, Yoko Ono, which went for about $93,000. An ashtray used by Starr while recording at Abbey Road. It fetched $32,000 for an ashtray. Are you kidding me? That's crazy. Oh my goodness. So there you go. So lots of money being spent over there. And you know what? Hey, when you get memorabilia, I get it. If you got the money, who am I to judge? You're the one with the money, not me. All right, next on the line, yes, it's that time for Joy Cho. She is the founder and creative director of Oh Joy, books to celebrate the everyday moments of childhood. And who does not appreciate some good books for the little ones, especially these ones? They're so beautifully illustrated. On the line with us right now is Joy. Good morning and welcome to the show, Joy.
Thank you. Good morning, Aaron.
Joy, look, I understand you're now. Was it your mom or your dad that gave you your name? Because it kind of fits like oh so perfectly with Oh Joy.
It was probably a mutual decision. I'm not totally sure, but yes, it ironically does fit.
Yeah, I love it. It's in your name. It's in your books. And let's talk about these books. I understand these books are not your first rodeo. What got you into wanting to do, especially children's books?
Well, Oh Joy, my company, has been around for 15 years. We're all about bringing joy to the everyday through various products and content online and social media. I've previously written a few books for adults, including business books and a DIY book, but now as a parent of 2 kids, kids' books just made sense, and it was so relevant and something that I am very passionate about. And so we started writing these books a couple of years ago, and it's a series of 3 board books, the first which has recently come out, and the other 2 which are coming out later this year. And they're all about qualities I think are so important to instill in children at a very young age. So the first one, called Be Curious, is about curiosity. And then the second and third ones that are coming out are about kindness and compassion.
Well, Joy, I mean, you're no stranger, as you just mentioned. And for those that already don't know or are following you, I mean, they could follow your 13 million followers along. So I guess people know what they're doing when they follow you, Joy. On social media, what do you want people to know about you most of all? Because I understand you are successful, you're an entrepreneur, you're a visionary, and now you have such a big heart for the little ones as well.
I think it's, I talked about bringing joy to the everyday, but I think it's also just about confidence in general. I mean, for me, Oh Joy, we give you these ideas. We try to teach you these different tips and tricks throughout your life for various parts of your home or your wardrobe or for recipes and things like that. But really those things are to give you your own confidence and to give you your own joy, because that's just something that will all help us out in our own separate lives, no matter what we're doing. And I think especially now where we're in these crazy, unprecedented times that are sort of unknown and can be very emotional, I'm also doing my best to continue to provide that for people, because I think that we all could use it more now than ever.
Yeah, you know what? I am right there with you. I love the theme of these books. Be curious, you're okay, and oh so kind. I understand it takes place with one particularly happy cat, I understand?
Yes, the first one, Be Curious, the main character is Curious the cat. And so he or she is going through this day full of adventure, and it engages the child in not only asking questions, but there are flaps and cutouts. And so when a kid is young enough that they're not necessarily reading it themselves, and the parent or grandparent or child care provider is reading to them, it allows the child to interact with the pages. And because they're 6 pages, you don't have to worry about them getting damaged. And not only does it engage within the cat's adventure, but then it asks these questions that you can take into your real life, into your everyday, to engage your own curiosity. And especially right now, we're home. We can't necessarily go on these grand vacations or go to our favorite restaurants. We have to be able to appreciate the everyday joys that are around us even more so.
Okay, like I gotta skip down. I'm skipping the "You're Okay." I love that one, by the way, but I especially love this llama and the message on this one. Oh, so kind. Can you tell me why this one is especially important to you?
I think that kindness is it's not something that anybody questions that we should have, but I think we often forget. And also, it's something where we need to constantly remind ourselves. And I'll give you a very small example. You know, when I was a kid, I took the bus to school. One of my kids now takes the bus to school. And I think that a lot of times we forget to say thank you to the bus driver. But I've always been told that from the very beginning, whether it's a public bus, a school bus, whatever that might be, that person is keeping us safe and they're taking us to a place every single day. And so I've instilled to my daughter, since she was in kindergarten, taking the bus to school, make sure you say thank you when you get off the bus every single time, when you're coming back home. And you know, there's a moment in that book in Oh So Kind where the character does get off of the bus and talks to the bus driver and shows his appreciation for what she's doing in keeping him safe and taking him to and from. So it's little things like that. Some of them are things that we know. Some of them are things that we might forget. But no matter what, instilling that kindness and reminding us all, both the kid and also for the adults as well.
Well, and I love it because it also gets the curious mind of the young one, which you see this llama, which you don't see a lot of kids' books, the main character with the llama in a wheelchair. Why did you make that so specific?
I think that, you know, the characters are animals. And so when you see animals, there's no skin color, there's no gender. So we're already having an equal level playing field. But I also want to make sure that kids of all kinds see themselves in some way in these animals. And so to have a handicapable llama, I thought was so important because there are going to be children reading these books who may be getting around in different ways. And so to see something and someone, even if it's an animal, reflected in them, I think is really going to mean a lot to those. And also just different things. You know, we tried to twist the normal convention of stereotypical things that you might see in childhood books from a long time ago that now were modern. You know, in that book, the dad is a stay-at-home dad and the mom is out working. And we want to just make sure that there doesn't have to be one way to do things and that we can see everyone's life and everyone's family in different ways.
Well, Joy, again, I do appreciate you. The reason I asked that personally is my sister has special needs as well. So it's always near and dear to my heart when somebody makes the time to explain to the young ones that kids are different and not to like poke fun of or make or bully. My sister, of course, thankfully can't hear like people's comments, but we've heard them just being her family members and or certain things that they see or say or do. So I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart to making the world a different place to live in, because I feel it's very important to get the information to young children as young as possible so that they can grow up with the proper tools in life. So Joy, for those that want to find more information on your books, how can they get more information?
Thank you, Aaron. You can find everything at ojoy.com, and that will link out to various places and sites where you can buy our book, including Target and Amazon. And you can find all of our social media channels through there as well, so ojoy.com.
Okay, and before we let you go, I got a quick question because I want to make a little wish list with you now. Can we have a koala in a future episode, possibly?
I love koalas, yes. I will. If we do any more, I will put the koala on my list for sure.
Okay, cool. All right, there we go. All right, Jesse, do you have any like suggestions for her on animals, Jesse?
My favorite one is a sloth.
Okay.
So
the ever
one.
Okay, so there we go. Okay, Joy, we're going to follow you on social media. Thank you very much for spending time with us. We can't wait to see more from all the great things that you're doing.
Thank you so much for having me.
No, thank you. Yes, everybody, go check it out. Oh, Joy. Very cool little book shelf there. In fact, you know, if you just find Joy, Joy is a very influential people. Like, seriously, because she was named it. 30's most influential people on Times on the internet. Also, one of the most followed accounts on Pinterest with 13 million followers over there. She's written a lot on entrepreneurship, spoken on a lot of really great subjects, and now she's taking the time for the little ones on this. So very cool. We love and are happy to have Joy with us, and thank you to Scholastic, which you can go, that little paper that we always used to get? I used to love to fill that out, and my mom got only a third of what I ever highlighted. I think that's the majority of parents, right? Because it gets pricey. All right, so we got to take a quick break here on the morning show. We'll be right back right after these messages with more right after this. All right, social media, we see you over there. JS Ramos tuning in on Periscope TV. That's via Twitter. We appreciate you. Big Trees tuning in. That's kind of a cool name, right? If you could be a tree, what kind of tree would you be eventually, Jesse?
Ooh, that's a tough question.
Not for me. Sequoia. Hands down. I want to be a sequoia tree. You know how big those things grow and how long they last?
Oh, I want to be a redwood then.
Yeah, there you go. Sequoias are great. So let's see. I say that because we had them on the show about 3 or 4 years back, where you could put your. I know people are gonna be like, "Wow, he went really morbid, really quick." What? I'm just saying, we all have an eventuality. Eventually, maybe I shouldn't share it. So there's these little pods that you get like your remains in, and then you grow up to be a tree. Well, your remains help. You could be like a maple tree, an oak tree, but if I could be a sequoia tree, I'd be all for that, Jesse. Just depends where you put it at, right? People would be like, "Oh man, it's okay. I can get one in Yosemite, maybe." All right, moving on. Let's see. Lost Dogs tuning in. Uncle Platt. That's a cool name. Or is it Plato? I don't know. Platt 0. AJ Buller or AJ Baller. And Lost Dogs 20. Hey, by the way, Jesse, I found out some really cool information from a Twitter follower on Twitter. Let me see if I can get their name. Do you know what time it is in India right now?
We have 30 seconds. No.
Okay, so this is the first thing I've ever learned yesterday. I was like, what? They are 12 hours and 30 minutes ahead of us. Did you know the 30-minute was even a thing?
Are you serious? Oh,
I'm not joking.
Oh, you just blew my mind right now.
I know. Right? I know. I want to know how many people knew that one. I shared that with Brenda. She wasn't as amused as I was. I was like, I was like telling everybody, "Can you believe it?" That's right. It's the morning show here on ABC News Radio, KMET 1490 AM. Tuning in with our live TV audience over there at KVVB TV, Channel 33, Facebook Live, Periscope TV, LinkedIn Live, YouTube Live, and of course, Roku TV. One of the things I love about our show is that although we're online, of course, we get to reach the masses whenever people retweet and or share our content. And we recently picked up a follower on Periscope, a viewer, I should say, on Periscope. His name is Ansari Saqib. Saqib215 is his Twitter handle. This is why I love Twitter. Twitter's like all over worldwide, right? Except for North Korea and China, I believe. Okay, but anyway, long story short, so we had a little conversation on Twitter yesterday, and I just inadvertently wanted to ask. I knew I could have looked it up, but I was like, oh, let me just ask him what time it was there. And did you know, for the majority of you listening out there, that, whenever you say, okay, like if you're on the East Coast, we count, add the 3 hours to West Coast time, right? However, in India, I had no idea on this, and I have Indian friends, and I've just never asked them. But they actually, guess what, are 12 hours and 30 minutes ahead of us. So if it's currently 8:30, coming up to be 8:30 right now, just around the corner, then it's definitely, let's see, 9 o'clock there. Isn't that crazy? That's crazy. So there you go. I don't know if I did the numbers right, but there you go. So you got to calculate for that little 30-minute mark when you do the time difference there. But anyway, so that was just, my mind was blown on that. Jesse, how do you feel about like having known that? You kind of feel like it was like you were going to do like a test back in school and you'd be like, I'm going to ace that question, right?
Yeah, you kind of blew my mind right now. So I'm looking at time zones right now, and yeah, you're right. I also see a 45 as well. So I don't know what's wrong with the world right now.
Wait, where's that at? Where's the 45? See, that one I would be like, I'm so sorry, I don't know what time it is there. I don't know.
Kathmandu? Is that what it's called?
Oh, Kathmandu. Yeah. Okay. So there you go. Wherever you're listening, whatever time zone you're in, we just appreciate you all over the world. See, that's what I'm saying. Sometimes I feel like changing our morning show to a daily show or something because it's like, like they're like, well, we're watching it at night. It's not really, maybe it's morning for the next morning. I don't know. All right. We got lots of people tuning in. We appreciate you. Let's see. Alejandro says 8 hours difference in Europe, Switzerland. Oh, good to know. Yeah, we have our good friend over there in Switzerland tuning in every evening as well, so thank you. Okay, Katya Wonderland. Yes, thank you for tuning in. She says, good morning for you guys, good evening for me. Love your show. It helps me to practice my English. Oh, Katya, we appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in. Okay, we got stories up the wazoo, so let's go to them, shall we? There's this one. Spanish. Speaking of languages, many of you probably are thinking, Jesse, you're completely like 100%. Like you speak Spanish left and right?
No, that's a negative.
That's
I try to learn. It's difficult.
Well, get this. This can never come at a better time. If you're hunkered down at home and looking for ways to stay entertained, you may want to start trying a new language. Not only will it keep your brain active, it'll make you more marketable in the workplace. Now, Jesse Torres and I actually spoke on this last night. We talked about like learning during this time because if you're out of a job and or you're waiting for your employer to actually come back and give you the job back that you need, you can actually be more marketable by going and trying out. Some of these courses are for free, by the way. This one is not. But getting your training up, right? Because now's the time. We all know we're like, what can I watch on TV? What can I play? Video games. However, if you're more at home than not, why not pick up something that could be useful for you down the line? Because we all know we're going to get out of this eventually. I mean, countries are starting to slowly take off their bans and start to acclimate to a new way of living outside, quite literally. However, Rosetta Stone in Spanish, you can get a lifetime subscription for literally half of its price, 47% off. Yes, just $159, which is $140 off its list price. The award-winning online software helps you speak and learn a new language through a series of games, stories, and audio lessons, fun quizzes, and live tutorials. These are quick to pick up, plus you can easily schedule them around your life thanks to both long and short sessions available. The software provides an immersive learning experience that involves you seeing, hearing, speaking, reading, and writing just like you do in the real world. One person actually said, easy and fun. If you're thinking about learning a language, don't hesitate with this product. Unlike the old one, this is a lifetime edition. So seriously, like you can get it half off. You know how expensive, seriously, the only thing that's ever cut me off from wanting to learn from Rosetta Stone was the price difference. So there you go. It's sectioned off into manageable lessons that you can interact with on your phone or computer. Oh, that's pretty cool. I thought you had to just be at a desktop. And it will tell you in the beginning how long the lesson will be so you can plan your day. Rosetta Stone works on most devices, including Windows 10, Mac OS laptops, Android and or iPhone, smartphones, and tablets, so you can switch from your Apple iPhone to your MacBook Air without even skipping a beat or losing your progress. It also features a handy phrase book that's full of greetings and cultural expressions, which works offline too. Lessons include a true accent feature, that's good, which uses voice recognition software to ensure you're pronouncing Spanish words correctly. You know how good that is? I've been waiting for some. They had this all along. That's great. The feature will help you sound like you've been speaking Spanish for years. According to one person, they said the voice recognition in the software is excellent. As you repeat something in Spanish, there is a ring icon that will show you how well you pronounced it. For example, if you pronounce it perfectly, it will be a solid green ring. If you did it passable but not fabulous, there's a break in the ring and a fading of the color. It continues until you mangled the word so badly, it will ask you to repeat it until you get it right. So there you go. How cool is that, Jesse? Come on. This is like one of the best things ever.
It's actually a really great idea or price because I remember back in the days, Rosetta Stone was like $600 to $700, and those were for only like 3 lessons or something like that, or 3 chapters. I can't remember what it was, but it always deterred me from taking it.
Yeah.
But for $200 lifetime subscription, I think I might do it.
It's actually really good. Because I always tell people you learn 3 languages, you can go around the world: Chinese, Spanish, and of course English, right? And then people are like, "What? American English? Speak American English?" English is actually from like Europe English, so you don't speak that type of English. Anyway, long story short, so there you go. We're a very interconnected world. We love to be interconnected. So I'm, you know what? If they do a Chinese one and a Spanish one, all like for this low price of $150, I'm in for it. Okay, I'm just waiting for them to go down further. We need to take a quick break here on the morning show. We'll be right back right after these messages with more right after this.
Powerful stories of our time, anytime. Nightline.
Your mom said, comb your hair. Your dad told you, smarten up. Your dog is judging you right now. And your best friend just called you crazy. We all need someone who'll pull no punches and give it to us straight. Now imagine getting your news like that. No bull, no spin, just give it to me straight. Straightforward news. Straight to the heart of the story. ABC News. Straightforward.
The Americans here on the ground and the Iraqis. 18,000 tons. Patatas. Ismail? David.
Over ground zero from Hurricane Michael.
You can see just home after home. David, nice to meet you. This was your view.
My favorite view.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Good morning, sunshine.
Good morning. Good morning. Oh, I'm grateful you woke up this morning.
Good morning, sunshine.
Good morning, sunshine. We've been waiting for you. Say good morning. Good morning, sunshine. In America. Say good morning. Now I want you to wake me up.
Friday nights, 9/8 Central. True crime, cinematic, real-life drama, stunning, the unthinkable. Follow the clues. The Hunt. True crime. 2020. Friday nights, 9/8 Central on ABC.
All right, so we are definitely on our commercial break. Again, great programming over there at ABC. Love Good Morning America. Fun show. Fantastic show, actually. Not as good as the morning show, but, who am I? No, I'm just kidding. No, they're all great. Okay, moving on, though. We appreciate you guys in social media. Let's see. Roger Laplante says, I got to live in Germany for 6 years. Best way to learn a new language, living in their culture. I wanted to stay there. That's what I understand about Germany. It's really a beautiful, beautiful area over there. Let's see. Katia says, please the link for Spanish learning. Okay, so Jesse, good job sharing that as well. And okay, that looks kind of funny when Katya thanks you. She says, "Thank you, Jesus." It's
we have 5 seconds.
I wonder if Jesus himself would be like, "Now, Jesse, that was for me." What? That's right. It's the morning show right here on ABC News Radio, KMET 1490 AM. Joining our live TV audience over there at KVVB TV, Channel 33, Facebook Live, Periscope TV, LinkedIn Live, YouTube Live, and of course our good friends at Roku TV. We got lots to talk about. A lot of people are happy about that last story about Rosetta Stone being half off. I know for me, that was one of the first things that was the deterrent. I was like, what? How much? Oh, no. But now it's pretty affordable. So go check that out. We're posting it in our social media chat room. You can find us right there. Just type it in, KMET 1490 AM and or KVVB TV 33. You'll see the video there, or maybe you won't. Oh, we didn't repost it there? Got it. Follow myself at Aaron Michael Sanchez. We'll make sure you get the information right there. Okay, switching gears up just a little is some actually good, positive news. You know, I always say, look at other countries ahead of ours, especially the ones that ended up like putting the bans early on, quite literally, and or some at the same time, because then you see a progression of things to come eventually here, right? I've always said that. Follow the news over there. You'll follow what happens over here eventually. So according to this is interesting. Spain and Italy, two European countries that have been particularly hard hit by the coronavirus pandemic, will begin easing lockdown restrictions this week. Yes, some construction and factory employees who have not been able to work remotely since the nationwide lockdown was implemented will be allowed to return to work in Spain. That's according to NPR. New guidelines issued by Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez stipulate that all impacted companies will be required to supply their employees with protective equipment and ensure that proper social distancing guidelines can be met. That, of course, was according to Newsweek. According to Sanchez, who, by the way, Jesse, we got somebody really heavy hitter over there, Sanchez. Maybe we need to go visit over there. Have you ever been to Spain?
Negatory. It does sound cool to be, though.
I know. People are like, you know how many Sanchez's there are in the world? I know, but you know, we're like, you're my cousin, you're my primo. Sanchez said this over the weekend. We are still far from victory from the moment when we will recover normality in our lives. We are all keen to go back out on the streets, but our desire is even greater to win the war and prevent a relapse. Despite the lessening of some restrictions, Sanchez added that the county was at least 2 weeks away from lifting any additional lockdown measures, which could apply to the reopening of bars and then, of course, schools. Spain's Ministry of Health reported that there have been 517 reported deaths in the past 24 hours, which was down slightly from the 619 deaths that were reported the previous day. To date, there have been at least 168,496 confirmed cases of coronavirus in the country, the second most in the world, and 17,489 deaths, according from Johns Hopkins University and the information that they have there. So, obviously a very grim day. It doesn't mean that the deaths are stopping and or at any rate. However, you see now that some are starting to see a decline. They're saying, okay, we're going to slowly roll out the next steps. So I don't know if anybody saw the information that Newsom said yesterday. Some were very hopeful about that as well. Again, very important. But what do you think is going to happen, Jesse? Just out of not knowing anything that's going on, but what do you think would be the natural progression of things, just out of curiosity?
You mean if we open things back up?
Mm-hmm.
We'll probably see a resurgence of the coronavirus outbreak.
You think
until
so?
we get a virus at least? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think the majority are waiting for the vaccine, right? Whatever like vaccine is going to come out, that they're going to be like, okay, this is the one, because they've been kind of experimenting with several of them. So I could see some people being like, especially those at high risk. And that's the question I'm going to have, where they're going to have ones that are at high risk, or are they going to say, whoa, we're going to actually need to keep you over here and then the others. I don't really know how they're going to play that out quite literally, because that's still out there, right? And or are we going to see a huge upsurge? I don't know, but I do know this. Trump recently, actually, and many of you probably saw this actual article, which was the biggest trending topic of yesterday on Twitter. And it could be like continuing on, because now China's gotten in on the scene as well with a statement, very big statement as well. But Trump, here's the headline: Trump halts World Health Organization funding. Okay, so I just want you to think about that just for a minute. President Trump actually, who's been under criticism for his handling of the response to the coronavirus, has seen his poll numbers drop. This is according to an article in the New York Times. They went on to say he blamed the World Health Organization for what he called its failures in the crisis and said he planned to halt American funding of the organization. Now, many of you are probably wondering, well, you know what, the WHO, that was a pretty good, because I don't know, Jesse, before you found out all about the pandemic and everything, did you know who the WHO was?
No, I did not know who the Who was, other than the band.
Exactly. That's the moment it was trending. I'm sure the majority of people were like, what? That's a band. No. The WHO, WHO, the World Health Organization, is a UN agency which was founded in 1948, only several years after the UN itself was formed. The agency was created to coordinate international health policy, particularly on infectious disease. The organization is comprised of and run by 194 member states. Each member chooses a delegation of health experts and leaders to represent the country in the World Health Assembly, the organization's decision and policy-making body. Now, I just want you to stop there for a minute. Again, they delegate, right, members, health experts, and leaders. Let's go back to the health experts. Okay, so these are people being put on the front line quite literally. And back to a documentary that if you're going to weigh in on this decision of whether Trump is right or wrong, I want you to first go and watch this completely unbiased, very good documentary. It's on Netflix. If you don't have Netflix, get with some. Oh, you can't? You can't? They could share an account. You could share an account, trust me. I think they allow, how many do they allow for that, Jesse, on Netflix? Is it 5 or 6 users? I don't know, but I'm sure people are sharing. Anyway, long story short, here we go. Pandemic, how to prevent an outbreak. Go watch that first, and then watch people that are literally from the World Health Organization go into not only war-torn areas, but areas where Ebola, SARS, and much worse pandemics actually can start and are starting around the world, and then come back and tell me that you're A-okay with this decision. So back to the World Health Organization. Their headquarters, the regional headquarters are in Africa, North and South America, Southeast Asia, Europe, the Eastern Mediterranean, and the Western Pacific. There are more than 150 field offices globally where staff on the ground work with local authorities. This is not their first rodeo, by the way. They work with a lot of very, I will call them stubborn, and sometimes very influential people in around the world. So President Trump, you're not the only one. There's a lot of other leaders that they go in front of, and some want to close things down, some do not, because they're like, how are we going to function? And then the World Health Organization says, here are the numbers, this is what we're seeing, this is the area in your area, and we don't have enough vaccines to go around, because that is still a thing. So I would challenge President Trump and the entire administration to relook and revisit this, because just like the really bad retweet, which kind of put a lot of crosshairs on Dr. Fauci's head, which I think was the stupidest move you could have ever made. And yes, I called it stupid because obviously the White House said, whoa, we're not firing him at all. The World Health Organization is set up to help the majority of humankind for a reason, not a political back and forth. Now, granted, could they have reacted sooner than later? Well, let's face it. If you are on the ground floor trying to get the data, as many of these organizations do, especially the World Health Organization, they compile with all the other hospitals, they compile all the information that they're gathering. And remember, the world is not set up this way. So the World Health Organization is able to have a bird's eye view of what's happening around the world to say, okay, we're starting to see an uptick here, we're seeing an uptick over here. Oh, by the way, the United States of America is not the only country that they service. So if you're going to pull funding from a World Health Organization like this one, I've got to say, not only is that the dumbest move I've ever seen, it's probably the stupidest one eventually. Because what do you say to the rest of humanity? You say, you know what? I'm going to stop, because although we're supposed to put funding into this, we're like obligated to, we've already made that promise, we're going to stop, and we're going to stop in the middle of the world's worst pandemic, at least in our own century, right? I think everybody agrees with that, the world pandemic. Okay, so before you cut funding away from a very important organization, why don't you revisit that and say, you know what, I think I was wrong about that. They're doing a pretty good job, and oh, by the way, I'm doing a pretty good job too, just trying to make ends meet, right? Let's face it. Let's take away the blame. Look, am I the first one to say some things were slower than most as to the alert? Yes. However, if nothing were done, and this is where I applauded President Trump, even yesterday, I always applaud him whenever he does something good, but I got to call him out on this. He did something pretty bad. You do not pull funding from a World Health Organization, which is trying to help the majority of humankind, mankind, womankind, childrenkind, our senior citizens kind, every kind of kind in the world, and then come back and say, I'm doing a great job. No, that is neither right nor wrong. It is just bad. Bad, 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 bad. Long story short, there you go. I may not have a job again when we get back. Again, my opinions are completely my own. There you go. I had to get that one off. That one was really just festering there. But seriously, President Trump, if you're listening or if anybody wants to share this information, just take a step back and say, you know what, let's go ahead and pay. We could still put a little like investigation under the, like, you can even make it public. You'd be like, this is what we found in 60 to 90 days. Oh, by the way, that's how long they want to delay payment pending an investigation on the World Health Organization. What's going to be found out in the end of the World Health Organization investigation? Guess what? Nothing. At the end of the day, you're going to find out one thing and one thing only. They tried to do the best that they could do. And I'm upset, rightly so, because if you go watch and see what people on the front lines are doing, not only are they putting their own lives, and these are the people foot on the ground in these areas where people are like, get me out of here. I don't want to be in this pandemic area with SARS or Ebola, which have even a higher death rate. If you could tell me, President Trump, that you are willing to go into one of these war-torn areas and do what they do in the middle of it. And by the way, many of them actually sacrifice their families, their time with their families, because they have to be on the front lines. So they don't see their families for sometimes months on end, especially, oh, by the way, in some areas, there are little guerrilla sections which actually go and tear down their operations because they think that they're there to do some harm, more harm than good. So instead of propagating that type of propaganda, why don't we sit back, stay back, and say, you know what, World Health Organization, advise the best thing that we can do. Let's work together with the entire world to try to curb this entire crisis that we're in. And there you go. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. If you don't like it and you want to share your information, feel free to do so on our social media channels. I'll make sure to look at it. I just know I'm never going to change my stance on this ever. So we got to say, we got to take a quick break. We'll be right back right after these messages with more right after this. Stay tuned. All right, those of you tuning online, we appreciate you on Periscope. We've got, let's see, Izelle Fountain, Narcisscopy, Fiji Mafia. Ooh, the Fiji Mafia are tuning in, Jesse. I don't know what to do.
Better watch what you say.
We love Fiji. I've always wanted to travel to Fiji. Just saying. Okay, we got P. Maron tuning in. Guy Boston Sports. Thanks for tuning in. Love Boston, by the way. I loved visiting Boston way back in the day. Boston. You got. It's a certain way to say it. Boston. Right. Okay. So there you go. Now this is so cute. I just don't know how to feel good inside. And I need a feel-good story, seriously. 93-year-old woman goes viral when she tells the internet something. We've got a picture of this. Hopefully we can get that ready to go. But it's just so cute. Adorable 93-year-old.
40 seconds.
Sorry, I'm seeing. Thank you, Jesse. Oh, she's so adorable. Okay, I think you guys are gonna love this picture. By the way, if you click on the article, you'll find the full scale picture of this. This was in Pennsylvania.
10 seconds. Two seconds.
All right, thanks. That's right. It's the morning show here on ABC News Radio, KMET, 1490 AM. Joining our live TV audience over there at KVVB TV, Channel 33, Facebook Live, Periscope TV, LinkedIn Live, YouTube Live, Roku TV, and much, much more. This story is a really fun story here, and I thought, we all need some fun in our lives. This is happening all the way from Pennsylvania. Yes. The 93-year-old woman is seen in a picture. Olive Veronesi of Seminole was facing a serious problem, and it's quite a serious one, Jesse. I mean, of serious things, what do you think she wanted people to help her out with? Because of all the things that could go missing in a house, there's only one thing that would create a problem for this 93-year-old. What do you think that could be?
She could not find her remote control.
It was worse than that, actually. Yes, she's quarantining herself to avoid catching the coronavirus, but her beer supply was starting to run low. Yes, she told the affiliate over there, KDKA TV in Pittsburgh, she says, quote, "I was on my last 12 cans. I have a beer every night. You know what? Beer has vitamins in it. It's good for you as long as you don't overdo it." I did not know that. She said beer contains selenium. That makes sense. B vitamins, phosphorus, folate, and niacin, as well as protein and fiber. But desperate times require desperate solutions, which is why she had a relative photograph her sharing a heartfelt message to the world. I need more beer. There it is with her little, can we say that on television, Coors? Yeah. She went with the Coors Light. You know what? Good for her. You know what? One a day, one a night. I mean, I don't know how I feel about that, like 20 beers in a day. But the good times really began flowing for her when Coors Light, the beer she was drinking in her plea for this, came through with, get this, 150 cans. Yes, enough to last her another 5 months in quarantine. So she's really, she got the door open on that one. Got more beer. Yes. News of this generous act caused the eyes of fellow beer nuts to suds up. Again, can I just remind people, drink responsibly again? But for those that do, like her, one a night, I get it. Look, she just wants to calm down through all the rush of it. But you know what? That was a pretty good PSA, right? Like, I didn't even know it had all those vitamins. Did you, Jesse?
No, I did not.
Yeah, so there you go. Need more beer. That's, you know what? Hey, if it were a Tecate for me or a Dos Equis, I would be right there with you too. Okay, and then there's this. Will my new relationship survive the pandemic? Oh boy, this is the one that I've been wondering about for quite some time. What do you think is going to happen, Jesse, with all these like newly married couples and or people that are like stuck with each other? What do you think is going to happen? Just out of curiosity.
Hopefully they like each other. That's all I hope. But I don't know. Hopefully they don't get divorced.
Yeah, I saw somebody say there's going to be a lot of broken up people after this. Look, this is a trying time for everyone. Whenever you're in like 4 little tiny walls and you're not allowed to go outside, you see everything nonstop of both people, right? And then if you got like more family members in, you got more of that. It's a very trying time for the majority of humankind, quite literally. So I could see some beginning to be even closer than ever before because they realize, you know what? I think I actually heard this from a friend of Brenda's. I'm not gonna call her out, but her and her husband, these two, she's like, you know what? I really like you. Like, I like you too. Like, there are some people you want to be stuck in a house with, and then there's some people. Look, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say this. It just happens. It's called personality clashes and or just like, oh my God, can you stop doing that, right? Thankfully, I will say this. Being stuck with Brenda has been the best thing ever for me. There's like relationships that I've had in the past. I'm like, I don't know how that would do like for this long. Seriously. It's like Big Brother on steroids, right? Like, but seriously, you don't have like a bunch of newly single people. You have just you and the other person, and then the other people, and or your mom and or mother-in-law, however you want to put it. So there you go. We got lots of things to talk about, but I just want to see what people are doing. If you guys want to talk in social media and say what you're doing to be nice to one another and not like bite each other's heads off. But so there you go. Because it could be a trying time. I don't know about you, Jesse, but you know, you get to escape, right? But there's some people that don't get to escape. So I'm just saying, will they escape once it's done? I don't know. But choose your partners wisely, right? I think some people are going to be like, eventually they're going to say, you know what, who do you want to be stuck in a house with for like 3 full months in the worst case scenario? And then if that person is the person you want to be stuck with, you should probably marry the girl and or the boy, whatever. So there you go. Now, we're going to go into some fun things that you can do. Here it is. 9 fun things you can do, even in self-isolation, to help manage your anxiety. You know, it's true. A lot of people are having a lot of anxiety for whatever reason. See that lady over there? She needed her beer to ease her anxiety. I don't recommend that for everybody. Seriously, there's like some that kind of don't nonstop. That's the problem. But if you could do one and stop at that, I say go for it. But here's a list. Are you ready for them, Jesse? Do you think you might do? We're going to do the top 3 because I don't think we have enough time. You ready for the top 3?
Yep. Go ahead.
Number 1 on the list, which is technically number 1, it is jump around. Yes, do jumping jacks or burpees or jump rope when you're feeling anxious. Do something that will get you moving, take you out of the moment. Anything that gets you to breathe deeply will help you avoid hyperventilating and take your focus off the anxiety. So pretty cool. This one, dance or sing. That's number 2 on the list. It doesn't matter if you're a bad dancer. Put on some fun tunes and shake your moneymaker. Sing along, hook up the Wii, play Guitar Hero. You could do that. I don't know if you guys have that. Guaranteed to make you smile. Dancing, singing, and or jamming to some tunes will make you sweat and give you a dose of endorphins, the body's natural mood booster. I know Brenda does this. She puts on her beats and she's just like, do, so in there and just kind of having fun. I'm like, you know what? I want to hear what she's hearing. And then I'm like, maybe not, because then I'll start dancing and I won't get to work with that. There you go. Speaking of work, by the way, Jesse Torres and I, 2 Men in Your Business, we're going to actually premiere that here on Facebook around the corner as well. And tonight, a new episode will start at 5 o'clock. We had some technical difficulties last night on LinkedIn. Sorry, you guys over there. But we ended up getting it ready to go by 6. It's hard to do it from your home studio, but we got it down pretty good, so we're good to go. So if you have questions and or comments for us, 2 Men in Your Business, we can definitely find some information and or get that for you if we don't currently have it. But we have to see. Well, okay, last one. Stand on one leg and breathe. That's number 3. Can you believe that? Stand on one leg and breathe like a flamingo? Yeah, it's a thing. Do it. Okay, we'll see you tomorrow right here on the morning show, provided I still have a job. Remember, my comments are my own. Do not reflect KVVB and or KMET 1490 AM's stations. They're just personally mine. Aaron Michael Sanchez. That's me. Bye-bye, everybody. All right, for the rest of you here, we appreciate you. Let's see, social media comments abound in Facebook. Let's go and check out some of them. Let's see, Diana Carpahall says, I need to restock. I have no idea what that means. But there you go. Let's see. And let's go up and Okay, we see a lot of comments there. Appreciate you. And look, if you're looking at learning a new language, Rosetta Stone, I've always heard nothing but good things about them. And definitely, I love the one, because let's face it, like you can like repeat it and be like, I sound pretty good. But the fact that it has that voice-enabled feature where it can determine whether you say it correctly or not, I think is the best thing since sliced bread, quite literally. I never really liked sliced bread. Have you tried like rye bread? It's terrible, disgusting. But there you go. The fact that they have that, I say, you know what? Sign me up. That's almost like having a personal teacher right there saying, do it again, do it again, do it. You got it, right? So, but you don't feel bad because they're not making fun of you. It's just that little circle. But imagine if you have a really bad accent and you never get that right. That'd be terrible too. Anyway, so there you go. We appreciate all of you in social media. Keep liking, commenting, sharing. Look, even if you have a difference of opinion, we love difference of opinion. opinion. This, United States of America was founded on difference of opinion. So we can learn a lot from each other based on our difference of opinion. We appreciate you. Thank you for spending time with us here on The Morning Show. We'll see you tomorrow right here, provided I still have a job when I get here. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye, everybody.